Hi and welcome to A Drummer's Guide to the podcast all about the things that it takes to be a professional musician aside from actually playing your instrument. My name is Emily Dolan Davis. I'm a drummer, have been playing drums since 1999. I've been professional since 2008 and helping others to reach their professional goals since 2018, and that is why we're here today. So first of all, I'd like to give a Patreon shout out to the wonderful Joe Perkins. Now, I've known Joe for many years, I think since 2016, I want to say. So we started out working together doing remote recording. He is a fantastic guitarist. If you want to go check him out, he's got loads of stuff on YouTube, on Instagram. There's a bunch of releases that he's had, and so he's on Spotify as well, some of which has yours truly on drums, and he always makes the drums sound so good. You know when someone just makes, you just go, oh yeah, thank you. Like, thank you for making my drum sound so lovely. Like, I really appreciate it. So yeah, he understands tone so beautifully on guitar, drums, everything. He's fantastic. So fantastic. Anyway, so shout out to Joe Perkins. Thank you, Joe. So if you would like to support this podcast on Patreon, you can as well. And that's at patreon.com/Emily Drums. Right, onto the episode. So today I want to talk about what is essentially what I feel is my biggest downfall or has been my biggest downfall in my career. And if I had sorted out this one thing, I feel like my career would have been different, no doubt. I'm not saying better or worse because I don't believe in that, but I feel that some things would have been so much easier if I'd have just recognised this and gotten over my fear, essentially. And this is the idea that you cannot do this career alone. You cannot be a professional musician alone. It's literally impossible. I mean, life just generally is all about interpersonal relationships, but music is so about interpersonal relationships. You just can't do it all by yourself. All that's going to lead to there is things like burnout. It will be your downfall. Like I say, it was my downfall. In spite of my downfall, I still managed to make it work. But as I say, I made it so much harder. So let's talk about kind of how to create a team of people essentially around you to maximize basically your playing, your career, all these things. So I feel like there are different stages when it comes to kind of the team that you want to have around you. So I think in the early stages, ideally, it would be to have people around you who are also in that phase of learning, of, you know, when you start out learning an instrument and you have like that insatiable hunger for like, I want to know everything about this instrument, this genre, you know, this scene, everything about it. You are immersed in it, and it's, like I say, it's an insatiable hunger. You just always want to know more. And I feel if you're surrounded by other people like that, that can be so powerful. And I was very lucky as someone who is a very isolated person, should we say. I like my alone time very much, and as I say, I feel like I'm almost scared of other people, or I have been in the past. Not so much now, luckily. Thank goodness. It's only taken 38 years. Oh, I'm quick off the mark, aren't I? Anyway, but I think that I was very lucky in that my version of this, when I very first started out, was having another person who was as equally obsessed with drums as I was, and we started drumming on the same day. I've spoken about her at length. She is my sister from another mister, Miss Charisse Say. So yeah, we started together, and we were each other's kind of like person to, we would go into school, before school for an hour, lunchtime for an hour after school, every day, every weekday. And when we would go home, we would go and we would listen to music, we would chat to our families about music, we would find new music, come back the next day, oh, look at what I found here, listen to this, let's learn this, I learned this beat, da-da-da-da-da, we were having lessons, all this sort of stuff. So I think in the early days, in terms of like a team, I think having sort of a practice buddy or something along those lines is so useful. If I could do it again without my hang-ups about being scared of other humans, I'd probably say, well, in fact, no, I did do this as well, thinking about it, which is just playing with as many people as you can as well. So your team should be, again, people who are also looking, who are intrigued. It doesn't need to be someone with the same instrument. You can start a band with people who are interested in a range of different things and just wants to learn, just wants to soak it all in. You know, if you can find people like that, I think that it's really, really beneficial. Isn't even the right word. It's so much more than that. I think it's just, it can make so much of a difference. So I think that can be very, very useful. In terms of other sort of team members, if you like, I think if you can have some sort of support in terms of like emotional support, I'd say, because, you know, things get frustrating when you're first learning, you know, taking the time to practice and do all that. It takes time, it takes effort. If you're playing an instrument that requires, you know, lugging drums around, for instance, just speaking from personal experience, I think if you can have some form of support, then that is wonderful. Obviously, I know you'll make it work, because that is what we do as musicians. We just find a way. But I was incredibly lucky. So for my emotional support, I certainly had Charisse, and I think we had each other. So when one of us was finding something difficult, whether it was playing wise or more wider, like in a social sense of like playing with a band or making hard decisions or whatever else, we had each other to be like, look, I'm here. We'll do this, we're going to get through this, we're doing it, it's all good. We had each other for that. In terms of practical things, I had my lovely parents who would not only support me and Charisse actually in terms of like taking us to blues jams, to expose us to loads of different musicians and have opportunities to play live when we were very young, like from the age of 11, 12, right up until I was driving. My parents would also take me to gigs and take me and my gear to gigs, which they didn't need to do, but they did, and rehearsals sometimes too. You know, I would have band members that would be willing to come and pick me up when I was, you know, 15, couldn't drive yet. They would come to my house, pick me up, we'd go to rehearsal, they'd drop me back. Like, these are the kind of things that are so useful in terms of like having a supportive team around you to kind of enhance what you're trying to do. So I think that is sort of like a good overview of the kind of team members, if you like, that you would need or that would be useful in those early days. So in terms of the growing side of your playing career, however you want to look at it, like when you're starting to really do this thing now, you're starting to get work or wanting to get work, I feel like having a friendly musician, or ideally a musical director, is perfect. That if you can sort of ask for help, for direction, anything like that, to kind of just, if you someone that you feel safe enough with, I suppose, that if you need information, you can happily go to them and be like, dude, help me, help me. And I, again, was so lucky in that respect. When it came to things like practical things, like for instance, I remember when I got the Cher Lloyd gig in 2012, it was a heavy electronics gig, and I'd had a little bit of experience with electronics with Tricky, but I'm talking like a multi-12, whereas this was the full-on DTX 900, I want to say. Yeah, it must have been. So I was using that with Cher Lloyd, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I called up Tom Meadows, who is Kylie's drummer and has also played with Will Young and used to play with Duffy as well. Lovely Tom Meadows, love Tom Meadows. And I just sort of said to him, look, help me. I'm doing this gig, I'm meant to be using these electronics, I don't really know what I'm doing. He's like, fine, I've got you. Come to my lockup, meet me, and I will run you through all the things that you're going to need to know. And bless his heart, he took 2 hours out of his day, or probably more, to come meet me at his lockup. We set up his brain and a little bit of his kit, and he just ran through everything that I would need to know, because obviously these units, they're very involved, but in various different areas. Like, look, you don't need this, you don't need that, don't worry about that, this is what you need to know, this is what might go wrong on a gig, this is how you fix it, blah 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 blah. And he just sat and he spent that time with me, and never asked for anything in return ever. Just out of the kindness of his kind drummer heart, because drummers are fantastic. All musicians are fantastic, but drummers have a special, I don't know, a bond between drummers. It's a very unique thing, I think, personally. So yeah, but equally, you know, so that was on a practical level of like, you know, learning a skill, if you like. But then also having other friends that are musicians that were putting, like, that could put you forward for for work. And I had that very much as well. So I was incredibly lucky in that Charisse, again, good old Charisse, she's been a good one. She was on the road with Mika at the time. And basically that meant that she was happening across a lot of different musicians, bands, musical directors. They were, how many? At any one time, there were like a good couple of musical directors in the band. And when they were in need of drummers, she would always put my name forward. And that is sort of how my career kicked off, was with the Hours. That was through Charisse. Charisse put me forward for that gig, and I went and auditioned. Pretty cold. I didn't know anyone there, I don't think. Not that I remember. So yeah, that kind of was the kickstart into my career. And equally, you know, it's not just Charisse. And again, I mean, we've been friends since we were 11. So she is, like I say, she's family. But even like later on, so Jeff Dugmore, great example. I met Jeff when I was, I want to say 16, I think, at the Young Drummer of the Year competition. I was competing. I was one of the competitors. And I met him then, and you know when you just get on with someone? We just got on. Like, I just loved his energy, still love his energy. He's a fantastic person. And for some reason, from that point, if things came across his table, as it were, that he couldn't do or whatever, he would put me forward for it. And I mean, it still is the biggest compliment ever for a drummer that you kind of like look up to put you forward for something. But again, it was just because we got on, we stayed in touch, we would occasionally sort of run into each other at various things. And he inadvertently became part of my team, if you like. So I feel like having these people around you is really useful to kind of, yeah, just have a bit of a network going, essentially. I will go further into this because there are some big caveats when it comes to these sorts of friendships. I say friendships first, relationships first, that may or may not benefit your career. Because it's the other thing, you can also have people around you that are not the best sort of team members, that, you know, maybe you can't rely on, that maybe they have an ulterior motive, alternative agenda with what's going on. And it's worth noticing that as well. And then when you sort of like go later into your career in terms of building a team, I think that's when you get to the bit where you get to kind of choose who you want around you. Like, you have worked with many different musicians and you kind of create this little team of like your favorite musicians that you love playing with. I have mine. There are certain lineups that I just adore. There are certain people that I would love to have all on one gig. And that isn't just with the musicians. I'm talking like techs as well, like all the crew guys. Let me tell you, I know my ideal crew. Oh, it'd be so good. It'd be so fun. And they happen to be fantastic at their jobs too. But yeah, it becomes about that and more professional roles as well, like having an accountant, say. I know it's boring, but it is essential. I know some people have their own managers as well. I've never really gone down that road. Don't really feel the need. I'm not that in demand, so let's not jump the gun here. But it's essentially just having a team around you that you can trust, and that is musicians as well. Like on the road, on the stage, when things go wrong, you know that you can rely on those people, that it will get sorted, that you know, oh gosh, there's some teams, if you like, some touring teams are so, they're so, I don't like using the word toxic because I think it's very overused, but they're so unfriendly. They just, you know, there's people screaming at each other, there's people blaming each other and all that sort of stuff. I'm not about that. That is not the vibe that I enjoy. Some people thrive off of that. I don't. I need a family vibe. I need a somewhere where if someone messes up, they won't be chastised. Just do better next time. Like, it's that kind of thing of like, there's grace involved. Do you know what I mean? And there's stuff that is bigger than just music as well. Because I've been in situations where all the band has ever spoken about is music, other musicians, music, music, music. And it drives me insane. It drives me absolutely insane. I'm like, no, can we please talk about anything else? Can we talk about food first and foremost? Food, food, food. Let's talk recipes. And then films. Let's talk about films. Let's talk about life. Let's talk about psychology. Obviously, you know, I love that sort of stuff. Like, let's put the world to rights. It's all that bigger stuff than just music, music, music. Music's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. But I need more. I need variety. Maybe it's the Gemini in me. I don't know. But anyway, in terms of sort of finding these teams, where are you going to find them? How are you going to cultivate these groups of people? So the first thing I want to say as a kind of a headline over this, an umbrella, if you like, please, please, please do not use people. I think that's the sentence. Do not use people, because as someone who has felt that from people, where you know that the reason that they're talking to you is because they think you can do something for them, there is no bigger turn-off than that. And let me tell you, I don't care how good you are, if that's the vibe you're coming with, that I'm feeling used, it's not going to happen. And it's happened so much. Some people are so brazen about it, just like, yeah, I'm in touch because I just think you can help me. There's things you can do for me, and that you can introduce me to people, and basically like just really brazen, just horrible. So it's gross, it's sleazy, it feels sleazy, if that makes sense. But I would say instead, like, just focus on, rather than pitching to people, this is what I do, what can you, like, that's what it is. It's this attitude of someone coming to me with, what can you do for me, kind of thing. And it's like, I am not here to be used. It's not a vibe. So rather than pitching to people, like pitching your services, if you like, I think the emphasis could be on just connecting with people, because you're not going to get on with everyone. Absolutely not. There's musicians in my sort of sphere, we get on fine. It's fine. Say hello, we'll have a nice conversation. Both me and that other party are never going to call each other for a gig, because we just don't have that connection, and that's okay. That's absolutely fine. You're not going to get on with everyone, but also, like, there's plenty of work around. And I think focusing on surrounding yourself with people that you do connect with, and you understand there's an understanding there, it just makes things easier, more fun, more interesting, and more fulfilling. So, and I think that the opportunities that will come from those things will also be more fulfilling on the whole. In terms of actually where to find these people, I've spoken about this a fair bit on different things, but I think just going to people's gigs, or gigs where you feel your sort of person would be hanging out, go and hang out. And I'm not talking big gigs at like arenas. I'm talking tiny gigs in like 200 cap, 300 cap venues, where you can literally see the whites of everyone's eyes, and just go chat to people. Just go start meeting people. Also, jam nights, I will always say about jam nights, just go hang out, even if you don't quite have the courage to play yet. It's a whole thing in itself, and I've done many an episode on that too. Then yeah, just go and hang, just go and meet people, let yourself be known, let your face be seen. It's not going to happen in one trip as well, let me say. So that's going to be a more long-term thing for you to just keep cultivating and showing up. Just keep showing up. That and trade shows. So for me, trade shows has been a massive one. So drum shows, very much so. Again, it's a very drummer thing. The drum community is a whole thing in itself. But also going to like wider trade shows, like music trade shows generally. NAMM, great example. Or if you go to like a songwriting seminar or something like that, show up, just show up and start chatting. Like, sorry, I say a songwriting seminar in the context of me being a drummer. So just think, right, where are my people going to be? Do you know what I mean? Where are they going to be? And go shake some hands and say hello, and just go be yourself. Because in fact, one of my students was saying this to me literally today. And was it today or was it yesterday? They were saying that they were talking about performing on stage. And we have been talking about sort of showing up as yourself and just being like really emotive on stage, really connecting to the music, the other people on stage. And they said, it's the first time that I ever feel like I've done my job and all I've done is just be myself. And I thought, that's it. That's the key, being yourself and finding your people. So if you can find your team just by being yourself, that is the winning combination for me, like absolutely. And as I say, I've found myself in positions where I've been around people that are not my people, and the stress and anxiety that comes with that is just not worth it, because it's always going to be a losing battle. It's always going to end the same way. It's going to end in resentment, or just like, maybe for me, passive aggressiveness. That's what I do. I'm really good at that. I'm trying to get better, but yeah, you know in your heart of hearts, it's hard to move on, for sure. Especially if you've got work. Like, it's hard to then go, I choose to move on from this. It's hard. It's very, very difficult. But if you can make it work, and if you can move on, you will find something more aligned, because it's just what happens. It's just the nature of it, isn't it, really? So I wanted to just sort of finish up just by talking about, I will say as well, it's going to take time. Please don't think that you're gonna meet one person one time and they're gonna go, hey, here's a career. That's just not how it works. There's years of just hanging and chatting, maybe not years, months, maybe weeks, who knows. It just depends on the timing. But the fact is, you just need to show up and be there, be in the environment, be around the people, and sort of just don't isolate, integrate with people. It's this whole industry is interpersonal relationships. I'm telling you that now from the get. That is it. I say that not from the get because this is not the beginning of this episode. This is 20 minutes in. But the pitfalls that I do feel that are worth avoiding, for sure, just being aware of more than anything. The first one is, and again, this was a different student said this to me last week, I think it was, and I remember this feeling, which is feeling that you have to be bigger or ready to create relationships with people and put yourself out there. You feel like you need to be playing with a bigger artist to be viable, to be legitimately talking to anyone. It's absolute rubbish. Let me tell you, if someone is not interested in talking to you because you're not playing with a named artist, you don't want to be around those people. Let me also tell you that the best musicians that I know, as in not just subjectively, objectively, the most working musicians that I know, they could not care less if you are playing in pubs or in arenas. What they do care about is passion. What they can see is the spark. If you want to talk to them, if I want to talk to another drummer, if I have a young drummer and they come to me and I can see that ravenous, the same ravenousness, not sure that's a word, but you can see that same insatiable hunger that I had when I was 11 and starting out. If I see that in a kid, I will give you all my time. I will do whatever I can to help cultivate that, because that, not everyone has that. And I think that when you do have that, you think everyone does. Let me tell you, they don't. So if you have it, cultivate it, for sure. But as I say, don't feel that you need to have a name under your belt, as it were, to be good enough to chat to anyone. You can chat to anyone. It doesn't even need to be about music necessarily. Look at me. If you tell me you're a drummer or a guitarist or a bass player, that's fine. If you then talk to me about food, we're going to be friends. That is just how I roll. Literally, there is someone, you know who you are if you're listening, I'm pretty sure you are, who the majority of our friendship is talking about a good recipe to make Yorkshire puddings. Yep. That's a thing. It is literally the basis of our friendship, and I value it so much. They sent me a video the other day about hot oil versus cold oil when it comes to Yorkshire puddings. It's all very fascinating. I still can't make a good Yorkshire pudding, but I'm trying. It's one of those strange things. But anyway, so therefore, that is not that relevant. Yes, it can help open a door if you say, oh, I'm currently playing with X, because then it's a point of you recognize it or whatever. Point of recognition. It can help further the conversation, but it doesn't make it. Do you know what I mean? Also, I'd say do not rely on one person to be your sole connector to the music industry. Absolutely not. That is a dangerous game to play. I know people that have done it, because if you fall out or whatever, or something happens, then what are you going to do then? So create many different relationships with people. And also, this is my biggest one, I think. Please do not treat any of these relationships that you're going to create as like transactional. Again, I know people that do this. They are literally known for, if you get a call from them, it's because they want something. That is awful. And it's, yeah, it works to a point, but at the same time, it's like, no, these things, if you create friendships, people want to help you because you're friends. Do you know what I mean? Or even, it doesn't even need to be friendships, just relationships with people, just, you know, acquaintance relationships. There's plenty of people that I know that I literally will speak to maybe once a year, but let me tell you, if the right gig comes in, I'm giving it to them because I really like them and I see how hard they work. I see them on Instagram, they come across my feed or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, do you know what? They're going to do well. I hope I get the chance to give them an opportunity and to help support them. So I feel like, yeah, please be very aware that these are relationships, not transactional things like what can you do for me or whatever. And with that being said as well, also always follow up with people. If they've put you forward for something, say thank you, obviously, but always follow up, let them know how it went, you know, offer to take them for a coffee to say thank you or whatever else. Like, all of these things really, really help with just creating, like I say, this team of people that they don't need to be physically together as a team like a Marvel thing, but you know, it really will help. And also, do not, and again, I've done this, just put up with people who you don't actually like as people, but you think that they will further your career. Because again, I find that people surround themselves with people with similar outlooks on life, similar values, all of that. So chances are the people that are surrounding them are probably not the kinds of people that you want to be hanging out with anyway. And as we know, 90% of the gig is hanging out and not the playing. So yeah, I feel like I say, this making a team sort of concept, I think, is so important. Depending on where you are in your career, I think it sort of should tell you where you should be focusing your energies, whether you're starting out and it's about sort of learning your instrument and getting as much experience as you can with various other people who are in a similar headspace. Also, people that are more experienced, you know, go to them and I'm sure they'll be happy to offer their insights, if you like. If you're kind of building your career, then definitely just start connecting with musicians and finding other musicians who are in a similar sort of headspace to you, that, yeah, not that they can help you, but just hang out. Just go hang out, make friends. Literally, that's literally it. Just go out and make friends. You will find your people. And then when you're more established, obviously, then you get to start choosing the musicians that you want to work with. Also, a good way of doing this as well is actually connecting other people. That's also a really beneficial way to kind of like expand your network, if you want, if you like, sorry. If you can be a connector of people, that is a very good position to be in as well. So if you have that privilege to be like, oh, hey, this person, you would like this person, I think they would be perfect for this gig, you know, it's just, it all helps, you know what I mean? So in short, do not isolate yourself. You cannot do this alone, because doing all this alone, as I say, it's my biggest downfall. For me, it led to so much burnout, stress, anxiety, like not needed. It was not needed. If I'd have just reached out to people and just like asked the question, whether that was a technical issue, whether that was for a gig, literally just reach out and be like, I'm off the road now. If there's anything coming up, can you keep me in mind? Or reaching out to other drummers. If you need any depths, please let me know. I'm around. All this stuff. If I'd have done that earlier, I would have had a very different career. I got there in the end, but my ego, let me tell you, would not let it go, and my fears and my anxieties. But yeah, anyway, I hope that this has helped in some way. If you have enjoyed this episode, please do feel free to like, share and subscribe with any other musicians or creatives that you feel that this might help. If you would like to support this podcast, you now can over on Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/EmilyDrums. If you'd like to suggest a topic for a future episode, you can over at emilydrums.com/AMA. And if you would like to have some one-on-one coaching with me, then you can either go to emilydrums.com, or you can reach out to me over on Instagram at HeyEmilyDrums. Anyway, hope you're well. Hope you have a lovely day wherever you are, whatever you're up to. I'm sweating right now. And I will see you next week for another episode. All right, I will see you later. Bye.